Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new NoDQ review number 297. I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Big G, Greg Aldis, Jerry Slaughter, and Jeff Meacham. What's going on, everybody? Greg, what's going on? I hear myself a little bit feedback. Has somebody got their mic up too loud? Greg, what's up?
Hello, guys. Thanks, Virtue, for having me again. Aaron, obviously, I do many predictions over the last year. Haven't been on a review since the 200, but I thought 300's around the corner. I need to warm myself up to a review again. And in the UK right now, it's my birthday, so I thought I'd come on here, just spend it with my favorite wrestling guys, and let's chat some wrestling.
What time is it, though? 2 a.m.?
1.
Man, look
Nearly
at
my
you.
bedtime.
Hey, Jerry, stay tuned. You know how this works. Jerry, what's going on?
Nothing. Just been catching up on Marvel movies today. Just the ones I've been kind of skipping over. And today is also 5 years, Virtue, since we went to Toronto and saw SummerSlam. So it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome day. And I got my Wyatt Six shirt on, and I'm ready to talk wrestling.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, heck, that was pre-Bloodline. Crazy. Mm-hmm. Jeff, what's going on?
Oh, just another day here on YouTube suspension. Glad to be part of something today since I can't do my own shit. It's good to be here, Virtue. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know how this works. I'll be back
shortly.
Got to get over to Big G, who's happy to be here.
Always happy to be here.
He's got the German flag behind him, which, according to Randy Orton, that's where Gunther is from. Is the character Gunther from Germany, or did they make it known that he's from Austria?
They've made it known he's from Austria.
Yeah.
There must be a rib. I don't think Orton. Anyway, what's up, Big G?
Nothing much. Just like Jerry, I've been watching some good TV today. We had our Lisbon Fire Festival there the past couple of days. I was volunteering making some festival pizza. So other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Like you said, I'm always happy to be here. Let's get
festival
this
pizza.
Baby.
What's festival pizza?
We call it festival pizza.
Is it pizza for a festival?
No.
You get it from Domino's and then just say you guys made it?
Oh, no. We make our own fresh pizza.
Pizza with sprinkles on it.
Nice. All right. Well, stay tuned. You know how this works. Aaron, what's up? I saw a super chat come in already from a son.
Yep, we already got a super chat. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm doing very well. I'm happy to be here, as always, much like Big G. Great to have Nick Aldis' son, Greg, with us. Not actually Nick Aldis' son, but we like to call him that, just like we call TJS Braun Strowman's son. Not sure whose son I would be, but doesn't really matter. We're all here to have fun, discuss some wrestling, and we do have a super chat from Son, longtime NoDQ personality and a great guy. Son said, now that the Bloodline storyline is almost the same length as the NWO story, which storyline do you like better between the two? I'll go first, and then I want to throw it to Jeff because Jeff is a diehard NWO fan, and I'm curious as to his answer. I think I know what Virtue will say. I will say this. I think the beginning of the NWO was one of the most impactful storylines in wrestling history. It no doubt changed the business. But long-term, it had a lot of flaws. The Bloodline for 4 years has been almost perfect storytelling, highly entertaining. So if you look at the overall quality, I would say the Bloodline over the NWO. But as far as short-term impact, beginning of NWO, I would go with NWO. Jeff, what's your answer?
I think retroactively speaking, the NWO was definitely the answer. However, we're still in the Bloodline storyline. It hasn't had an ending yet. The NWO didn't have a conclusive ending. It just kind of petered off there. So for me, right now, I'm saying the NWO, but it is with a ... afterwards because we'll see what happens. The Bloodline storyline continues to evolve, whereas the NWO storyline, and once it hit, I'll say after Starrcade 97, it was just a matter of, okay, how much longer are they possibly going to do this? Whereas the Bloodline, I'm intrigued. I was intrigued to see Roman Reigns come back, and I'm intrigued to see what happens next.
Fair enough. Virtue, I know you're a huge Bloodline fan.
The NWO was diluted a little bit for me because I was like, even though it started before DX, technically, DX like overshadowed NWO for me because I preferred WWF over WCW, but I watched both. So, and then Diamond Dallas Page was my favorite in WCW. I was like against the NWO as a fan. So Bloodline, because there's no competition for it. It's the main draw for me in wrestling, and that's why it wins. Just trying to give you a reason, not just because it's Roman Reigns.
Fair enough. Big G, Bloodline or NWO?
I mean, I was kind of young when NWO was around, but I've gone back and I've watched a lot of their history and stuff like that. But for me, like, I know like the NWO, like Jeff said, it started off really strong, but I feel like as they kept on adding and adding and adding, and then the Wolf Pack, and then you have like another version, and then like they kind of came back together. So I was like, okay, but like the Bloodline for me, it's still very the first 4 years, very entertaining. Here we are, pretty much we're in the like 7th inning of the Bloodline storyline, as Paul Heyman said, and we still have a couple more innings to go before we can figure out the conclusion of this Bloodline storyline.
All right, Greg, NWO or Bloodline?
Bless you. God bless you.
Didn't I put that on mute though?
Wait, Big G, how do you say it in German? Say it in German.
Gesundheit.
There you go. Greg.
Yeah, I'm the same as you guys. Obviously, I started watching wrestling just after the NWO was like had a big moment. So obviously, it was a bit just before my time of starting to watch. But obviously, I've watched stuff back, and I love the music and all the attire and the promotional videos. I loved all of that. Like I thought it was so fucking. Oh, sorry, so cool. Sorry. But like, yeah, it got diluted, as Virtue said. And then by the time they got to WWE, oh, it was just a mess. And that's when I was watching them, and I was watching them just involve everyone, and Big Show again, Booker and the rest of them, and with the Bloodline, it's not over yet, and it's literally just took a massive twist last weekend. So we've still got a lot to go. So let's hope that this Bloodline story doesn't take a horrible turn and get diluted and everything, and there's like a million Bloodline members, and it's just kept very tight. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to say Bloodline, I think, even though I love a lot of things about NWO, but yeah, it got tampered with a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I would say the NWO had maybe a bigger high, but then they also had a lot of lows, and the Bloodline has just been very consistent in terms of the quality. That's why I think overall I would pick the Bloodline, but the beginning of the NWO was among the best segments in the history of professional wrestling. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat, says NWO was great until Eric Bischoff joined it in November of '96. I think it was still good after that, but that was definitely a controversial moment. And then, by the time they were adding all these people to it, like Michael Wall Street and Big Bubba, it was getting ridiculous. Jeff?
So Bischoff being revealed was definitely part of the problem. The thing was, the next week when he issued that edict about you're with us or against us, with all respect to a friend of the channel, Marcus Bagwell joining it was really one of those like, he's not a main eventer. What are we doing? And again, Mark's, like I said, friend of the channel, whatever, but it's before Bischoff, you had Hogan, Hall, Nash, Giant, and DiBiase, and Waltman. And then the bogus thing kind of sort of in there. That's a solid number to go against any group of WCW guys. The problem was Bischoff wanted it to evolve where it was one team was on one show or whatever. It got too big for its own britches too fast, and they started adding more people to try to compensate when they didn't need to. Whereas the Bloodline, like I said in the chat, the Bloodline is the Bloodline. It's family. It's either the Anawahis or the Sons of Haku. That's been consistent in there's a reason behind it. Adding, like you said, Ray Traylor, with all respect to the boss man, freaking again, Bagwell, all those guys. It just it made it seem like Virtue's one of Virtue's favorite words, mid.
Yep, there you go. I agree with that. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Psycho says, Big G's just like, what the hell? Who's better, the NWO Jarrett or the Bullet Club Jarrett? Big G, since you're the Jeff Jarrett fan here in the chat, which Jarrett was better?
I didn't realize Jarrett was ever in the Bullet Club, so I guess NWO.
NWO Jarrett, although that NWO wasn't really great, Jeff.
No, but yeah. NWO 2000 led by Jeff Jarrett because Scott Hall got fired, because Kevin Nash kept getting hurt, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because Brett got hurt too.
2000, so I wouldn't have freaking known. So
yeah. I mean,
was
Big G's like the second youngest person on the No DQ panel after TJS, so we're going back pretty far for him.
Well, no, and as far as which son you'd be, you said TJS and you mentioned something else. You're the son of a wrestling legend, Zoogs Rift, man. Own that shit.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Who were the Tonga Loas of the NWO and DX?" Oh,
DX
man.
is Rick Rude for sure. Rick Rude.
Yeah, well, Rick Rude was great. He just didn't wrestle. That was the problem.
Well, yeah, and he didn't fit in DX. Like he doesn't. He's friends with Brett. He didn't like Sean. He didn't like Hunter. Like what are we doing?
Yeah, and NWO, take your pick of any of those B team guys like Horace Hogan, Stevie Ray.
Yeah,
those guys were definitely like the Tonga Loas. Virgil,
Horace because he's family.
Yeah. That was pretty bad.
Either Horace or Brutus the frickin' Barber Beefcake, one of the two.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be talking about AEW tonight, but thank you guys
so much for no tangents, Virtue. Sorry.
Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat, says, "About time you fellas returned to Sunday." Yes, for the next 2 weeks at least, we're going to be on Sundays, and I think the tentative date for 300, and this is not 100%, but we're shooting for September 3rd, which is a Tuesday at 7, but it'll be a little bit earlier in case the show goes like 3 hours, which it very well may, being 300. So stay tuned. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. We might not even get to the main topics here. We'll see how this goes.
It might be like, how I like to do on the big episodes, just let the No DQ Galaxy lead the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe that's going to happen tonight.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, "Your favorite NWO Wolfpack matches and moments." Jerry, do you have any Wolfpack moments that stand out to you?
Not really, no.
Wow.
He said, "No."
It's not even that. Like after a while, the NWO just became like more like segmented off, and you had like all these different groups and everything. And I started just losing track after a bit. Who's with this group? Who's with this group? And it just got convoluted, is what it did. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer the question from earlier real quick because you hadn't got around to me yet. The Bloodline story. The Bloodline is still better than the NWO right now because everybody in the Bloodline has their part to play. Like even during the feuds and everything, like there was always something for each of the members to be doing and an important spot for them. Versus the NWO, where you had like Scott Norton just kind of sitting there against the turnbuckles, not really doing anything, or you had like just all these random wrestlers, and you couldn't really. There was really nothing to do with any of them. They were just all kind of sitting around waiting to be hit by a baseball bat or just like swung on by a steel chair or speared. It just got really, really old really, really quickly. And like Bloodline is still going strong. It's like this whole second chapter we're getting now, which is impressive seeing that the first chapter lasted about 3 or 4 years.
All right. Well, Big G was too young to really be around for the NWO in general, and including the Wolfpack. I feel like Sting joining was maybe the highlight. Like, I don't feel that they had a whole lot of really memorable moments except for like Conan coming out there and doing his whole shtick. Bout him. Oh, finger poke of doom. Oh yeah. Great Wolfpack moment right there. Yes. All-time classic, along with David Flair getting seduced by Tori Wilson.
Is it?
Hey, Aaron. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is it bad that I jam out to the NWO Wolfpack theme song in my car?
Yes.
Well, that was their theme
Yes,
song.
it
It was the
is.
cool, and their entrance, the way they walked to the ring. It was
That's
the
like
coolest part of the
the
gimmick.
coolest thing of Wolfpack that I ever liked. So, and their shirt, I have their Wolfpack shirt. So,
Aaron, in '99, if Tori Wilson's coming to me in that red dress, I'm getting seduced too. I don't give a shit if I'm David Flair or not. Okay.
You're beating up your father, and then a couple months later, you're back on good terms with him.
That was 1999. Welcome to WCW.
That was WCW '99
To
in a
Mysterio
nutshell.
and Dom.
Yeah, I will say this though: the moment that Luger joined the Wolfpack and threw that shirt on, that place popped. That was a moment, at least I remember vividly, when Luger joined. Sting joining was like, you've been fighting these guys for a year and a half. Like Lex is one thing, because Lex is always a better heel, but Sting, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but they were a face group. I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous.
It was. Yeah. Well, like I said, everything past Arcade 97 was a but for the NWO, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got a $2 super chat here from Michael. Thank you, Michael. Says The Rock should lay down for Roman finger poke. What do you think about that, Virtue? A finger poke?
God.
That would never happen. Those guys are too smart for that.
Yeah.
Bingo. Like, they're going to actually wrestle. I don't think we'll ever see a finger poke of Doom again because it would just piss off too many people, and they've learned from that. Like, people do not like that.
Yeah.
don't give Tony Khan any ideas.
You sure we'll
Right.
put butts in the seats?
When done right, it works. When DX did it for the European title, it was funny and it worked. When WCW did it for the world title, it was like, ooh.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Who has more charisma, Solo Sikoa or Kevin Nash? Wow.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's not even a controversial question. That's Kevin Nash.
You're making some easy money here tonight, Aaron.
Yeah, seriously.
Psycho Jet Black is on fire tonight. He's got another one for us. Psycho Jet Black says, who would you rather fight, Tonga Loa or Gilbert?
Right now, Dwayne Gill, I can kick his ass as beat up as he is.
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean, we would all rather fight Gilbert, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not messing with a Tongan
win,
in the time of his life.
Like
He obviously
Fauci,
does not
time.
like Tonga Lower, and he's putting him in these questions to bury.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not.
Tonga Loa is the new Ricochet for him.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm not fighting a full-grown Tongan in the prime of his career. Hell no. I'll fight. I'll fight Dwayne Gill in '98 before I'll fight frickin' Tonga Loa.
There you go. All right, we're caught up. I'm sure Psycho Jet Black will have more. Virtue, you got to steer us and move us along here. We got a couple of big topics to discuss, so let's get to it.
So the first, we're going to talk about Reigns and his path in our main event tonight, but let's talk about Cody Rhodes to open the show, even though we just had 5 topics we just talked about in the first 10, 15 minutes. But we are in the era of Cody Rhodes filler opponent era ever since he won the title. And that's sometimes expected, but like, please come on, like WWE. If you just could have thought about this out a little bit smarter, you can put great wrestlers together and they're going to have a great match where fans like of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes will be happy that they had a good match. But there's zero reality that Kevin Owens is going to win that title. And they're far past the days of, doing a swerve and having like KO beat him, but then they reverse the decision because something happened or he loses it right back. They just don't do that. And quite honestly, they shouldn't, because they should make these title reigns lengthy and meaningful. But it's not a knock on Cody necessarily, but all the people that wanted him to win that title and have his moment at WrestleMania, which he did, which could have still been a chase for him, which he could have still achieved at some point, maybe even in Madison Square Garden like Jeff Meacham's always suggested. But now you have it. It's come on, like him and Kevin Owens. Granted, if this is Bash in Berlin, it's a filler type pay-per-view, and it's all about just putting together a good match. Who cares about the result? But again, it's just like, for me, it's like the clock is ticking ever so slowly with what I envision, and we'll talk about that with Cody, with Roman, with the Bloodline, and this is this blob. At least Roman's back. Jeff Meacham, I'll start with you. This happens in wrestling when a champion chases and wins it, and they just don't have enough. Like back in the day, Jeff, there wasn't as many big events, right?
Right.
So you could have opponents stretch longer. They did a lot of house show circuits. But today it's like Cody just gets all these new opponents after he beats them. And now we're at Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens had the same thing with Reigns. You just –
Yeah.
like the first time around, it was okay just because it was fresh. And then they redid him again a year or so later. And
Yeah.
KO's a workhorse, so good on him.
Sure.
We know he ain't winning that time.
Mr. Reliable, that Kevin Owens. It's one of those. I don't know if you're going to bring this up, so if you are, forgive me in advance for using it. But you made a good point in conversation earlier today. I am with you that I really think they were going to go with Rock and Roman, and they made that Cody pivot, and they didn't have anything to go with once they pivot. It's like, oh shit, we need to get the fans what they want. It's like, yeah, but the fans also want compelling storytelling after the fact. We don't have that. We haven't had that since Cody became champion. It's been these 1 month little blips of a program, and it's like, okay, now we're on to the next person, where that doesn't work like it did. Great example. I'm watching 94 binge right now. Brett wins the title at WrestleMania. They build toward King of the Ring, where he faces Diesel. They build toward SummerSlam, where he faces Owen again. They build toward Survivor Series, where he loses the title to Backlund. It was a good, decent, long-term ability to build. They don't have that now. And it feels like we're just waiting for the proper person to come, genuinely challenge the WWE champion, where, I feel like at least on Raw, I'm more compelled with that world title than I am with the WWE championship right now.
See, the mistake they made, Jeff, and I'm sure this will come back up in conversation for the main event. They did that segment, the Raw after Mania, and The Rock. Cody let him hold the championship and put it around his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I don't like Rock's not gonna go on with something like that if there's no intent for that to at least be a title match, which I think a lot of people expect Rock to come back and challenge Cody at some point anyway. But that set up, well, okay, now we know we'll probably get that in the future. Well, what does Cody do in the meantime? Oh, well, let's have some great matches against great wrestlers. And
yeah,
I don't know. That's the AEW style, and WWE.
Yes.
I like to know that they could always put the belt on somebody else.
I am unapologetically a fan of the Back to the Future series, and one of the great things that film series did, every single little hint or whatever that Zemeckis and Gale laid down, it got picked up. It got paid off in the end. Every single thing. That's what's not happening with Cody, because I don't think they were prepared to have to pivot, which they didn't have to. They chose to.
Yeah. Well, and it's unfortunate too. Like his feud with Lesnar was last year, and now with all the stuff that went down, they're just not going to necessarily drop Lesnar back in there. But like guys that like a feud with Lesnar after Mania this year for Cody after he was a champion, that would have been way more meaningful to me, because Cody didn't need that. He was already beat Rollins. He was already kind of like, you knew he was still going to get a shot in the main event, and he didn't need to beat Lesnar. But at least if he wrestled Lesnar as the champion, you thought maybe, well, Lesnar could beat him. But anyway.
Yeah. If Lesnar had beat Cody with the thought process of this gets me back to Roman, then maybe. But that wasn't going to happen.
Even if I know Cena ain't coming back till next year, but even Cena right now, you'd still have that. Well, he could have the record. Yeah. And that could be Cena wins, it gets the record, loses it right back. Those are the type of opponents I want to see a champion have, where you at least have a little doubt. All right, Jerry, I'm going to come over to you next. That's all right.
Okay. I think Cody's a victim of the fact that the Bloodline story was more of a story than his actual story. Like there was no follow through from it at all. It's pretty much like, okay, Cody won the belt, now what? Like versus if Roman had kept it, we'd still be going on like with something else in that manner. But the whole Kevin Owens thing just seemed kind of shoehorned. I'm still thinking they're going to probably put him in a feud with Orton, which Cody Rhodes and Orton would make a better feud anyway. Or they're just biding the time until Cena or The Rock show back up, which is possible too. But yeah, we've gotten to a point where the Raw title is a lot more compelling than the SmackDown title. And I think maybe they're kind of doing that on purpose, because of because Raw moving to Netflix relatively soon, they want to make sure people are actually tuning more into Raw than SmackDown. So, but that's still kind of it's unfortunate because I know the whole Cody Rhodes want to be the man of the company and everything, but he's really not. Like, he's still, like, before, if I mention WWE to anybody, they don't really mention Cody Rhodes first. They still mention, like, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, or CM Punk. So he's got to do something. He's got to find better quality opponents or get into a feud that really matters at this point. Otherwise, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, and then that belt is going to be relegated to, like, the secondary belts compared to what the...
And don't put this past WWE. When did they start Raw on Netflix? Is it January?
Yeah.
I know when we talk, if Rock comes back and gets a title match against Cody, it's going to be either WrestleMania or like a Royal Rumble heading into WrestleMania.
I would think Royal Rumble.
Don't put it past WWE with Rock's relationship with Netflix. The first Raw, I don't know how they would do it though with Cody, but we've seen champions go on both shows and they make deals. The general managers let other people. Don't put it past WWE to maybe do Rock and Cody. Wouldn't that be something for the first Raw on Netflix? And that's how Rock wins it. They used to do that stuff in the Attitude Era. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to point.
Because like at that point, especially with them debuting on Netflix, that draft split or anything or the brand split, it's not going to matter. They're going to put whoever they can put that's going to draw in ratings or anything on that show, just so people put in that subscription and just start watching it. So,
all right. Well, yeah. Good points. I'm going to pass it over to Greg before he bows out and says this show sucks because I'm not being a part of it. Greg, go ahead. What's up?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I was thinking about this too. I was slightly surprised with the pick of Owens, and I don't think what didn't help it is that Cody comes out and he's like, "Oh, I want to face you next. Like, I want to, test myself against you," sort of thing. Like, I don't think that really helps him, considering the last few months he's only had Styles and now Solo, and obviously no offense to the whole situation that happened at SummerSlam, but he got help from Roman. So I know he needed it, but still. So this doesn't really make too much sense in terms of it's going to be supposedly a face versus face. Cody is obviously very, very face, but I think he could do with, I know he's just had a heel, but he could do with someone that's literally actually trying to kill him and take him out, and has a reason to sort of want that title. Like Solo wants the belt because he wants to be like Roman. We know that. But with Owens,
there's a problem, Greg. Roman rarely defended it, and a lot of people criticize him about that. But if you look at major championships like boxing and UFC, because it's real, they don't fight that often. Cody wants to be this fighting babyface champion that Roman wasn't, and you get this dilemma now. See, where there was more prestige with it, with Roman, and everything felt special, or at least like a big feud, not just a filler title match.
Even when he wasn't there, there was that aura that Roman Reigns was around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's not a similar aura, of course not. But it's like it's always going to be hard to literally be the champion after one of the greatest reigns of all time. The thing is, I've just looked at like the SmackDown roster, and it's like it is pretty poor. There's not anyone there like apart from Owens. You could say Orton, but obviously he's currently sidetracked with the current situation on Raw. So is Orton going to come back? Because I'm thinking. I think he beats Owens. Cody beats Owens. Not Clash. Bash. One of them. The same thing. And then we've got the Bad Blood pay-per-view, and even got Saudi. So I'm thinking, but surely they'll have the big match.
They got too many big shows. That's a problem, right, Greg? They just got so many big shows. He's
not going to be part of the. I'm like to think he's not going to be part of the War Games. Because I'd think that'd be a bit too close to home if Reigns is like, oh, do you want to be part of the War Games match? I wouldn't like to see him in it personally, but I'd like him to defend it against someone big at Survivor Series.
We'll probably talk about that with the main event here with the Roman Reigns discussion. All right, thank you. We got to get to Aaron quick here. So Big G, this is your time. But speed it up a little bit because there's a lot of super chats that came through. But go ahead, Big G.
Yeah. I'll keep it brief. honestly, like, you know me, I was one of the big guys, the Cody Crybabies at WrestleMania, want Cody to win, and now, like, I don't know where he goes from here. Honestly, I feel
You
like
wait for
if
Rock.
WWE went back to like, they're waiting for Rock exactly. But I feel like if they went back to like branded pay-per-views for like one, Raw and SmackDown exclusive pay-per-views, excuse me, we could see Cody building up a better feud than having him wrestle every single month, at every single pay-per-view. Don't get me wrong, Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. He's a good wrestler. He's good in the ring, good on the mic, and whatever. But like after Kevin Owens, I feel like they put all the names in a hat and then they draw. All right, here you go, Cody. Here's who you're facing. At Bad Blood. Here's who you're facing at Crown Jewel, and so forth, until we get, The Rock at the Rumble Room and Survivor Series. I know The Rock's going to be a little bit busy, come November time because of his new Disney movie coming out and whatnot. But yeah, even for me being a big Cody fan, I kind of feel like I kind of want to see a heel turn with Cody, just to like spice it up a little bit and change it, because we've seen babyface Cody ever since he came back. He did his promo about his dad the night after WrestleMania 38. He did his 2-year chase. He got the title. And now it's like we're at a standstill. Like I said before, and everybody mentioned it, where does he go from here?
Well, WWE will do this. Down the road, if Roman's a champion again as a babyface, he'll feud with Cody, and Cody will be the heel. That's just what they do. They rinse and repeat and reverse the roles.
Yeah.
Which I'd be fine with that. Good, you good, Big G?
Good as can good be.
Okay. All right, Aaron.
I think what's going on here with Cody Rhodes is he's either going to lose the title to one of two people, either Roman Reigns or The Rock, one of those two. And yeah, it's just another filler match for Cody, him versus Kevin Owens. Since we have time to kill, why not put Cody in there and have some great matches along the way? That's what's happening here. It's predictable. It's not particularly exciting. There's no real interesting story. Now, perhaps Kevin Owens will turn heel, as people have mentioned in this feud. But then what about Randy Orton? Are we going to get Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at Survivor Series? Are they going to go that route too, where Orton goes heel? But then if Orton loses to Gunther, he loses a little bit of value, and that match against Cody doesn't quite mean as much. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, at this point, the best bets, not ideal. As Virtue mentioned earlier, it would have been ideal if WWE had been building up somebody over the past 6 months, so Cody had an opponent ready. Kevin Owens is no real threat. He's there to give Cody Rhodes a good match, and that's pretty much what it is, and we're just sitting it out. By the way, Virtue, I love your idea about the Raw on Netflix debut.
Yeah.
I mean, Rock has a lot of contacts with Netflix, and people can say Rock's not a big box office draw like he used to be, and some of the movies fizzle out, but Netflix loves movies like that. Yeah. I mean, that's a moneymaker for them. Just saying.
Put it this way. The Royal Rumble is going to draw. The Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble. They don't need to put The Rock versus Cody Rhodes in a match at the Royal Rumble. If you want the biggest number possible for Netflix, that's a monster match right there. Yeah, if I was WWE, you want the highest number possible for that debut.
I know Netflix doesn't really do ratings. I mean, but that match would get them a lot more Netflix.
They still got metrics, Big G. And
I was going to say
they would find out what those metrics are if they did that match. I know brag that. And brag and brag.
But to get those subscriptions up, that would be one of the main. The main match.
Maybe they're thinking that, but we don't know. I mean, it's plenty of time.
Yeah, Virtue, you said it yourself. TV ratings aren't a thing anymore. Analytics, algorithms, those are the defining things in any form of televised entertainment now. And those numbers will go up if you have The Rock on that first show. No doubt
We're
about
talking about Rock, Cody, Roman, and Aaron's getting a lot of super chats, so he's going to have to start doing them here.
All right, let's get to some of these super chats. We'll start off with the Cody topics. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2, says, when are we getting Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk or Drew McIntyre? Well, that's very interesting. It's too bad that the draft is not until after WrestleMania, because you could potentially bring one of those guys over. Maybe CM Punk and Drew McIntyre could have a match, maybe the final match, with the stipulation the loser has to leave Raw. Jerry, you think that's a good idea?
I think that's a possibility. That, and also the fact that Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce have been doing a lot of trades and whatnot. And if McIntyre becomes too big of an issue to Pearce at some point, he easily just trade him over to SmackDown for somebody else, and that's how you get Cody versus McIntyre.
I like that. I mean, honestly, I'd rather see Cody versus CM Punk than Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. To me, that would be a way more interesting match. Greg, if it was up to you, like, who would be Cody's ideal opponent before The Rock?
If you could pick from like Raw as well.
Yeah, either brand or NXT for that matter.
Oh yeah. Listen, I like him. Yeah. Oh my God, the NXT has some cracking guys down there. That I'm looking at the roster now because I saw another question about Orton that I want to answer. But yeah, obviously Cody and Punk would be an absolute great match. But they're going to save that for. They'll probably save it for like next year's SummerSlam. But
who again? Punk
and Cody.
Yeah.
Because
well, heck, they're saving Orton and Cody. And again,
yeah.
If Cody's not the champion heading into WrestleMania, Orton, they could finally blow up that feud because of their history, Orton and Cody. Cody could wrestle Cena. So there's a lot of possibilities. Cody's still going to have a big match at WrestleMania if he doesn't get Rock.
Yeah. Virtue, I had mentioned this to you in the Facebook group. Like, what about if Cody loses the title to The Rock? He faces John Cena at WrestleMania. That would be a huge match for Cody, and we'll have to see what happens. Now, Dylan Lasagna sent in a very generous $10 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And if you add up all Psycho Jet Black super chats, that's a pretty high number too. So thank you, Psycho Jet Black, for all the super chats as well. Dylan says, well, not entirely his fault. Cody's title run is so bland that stories like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Liv Morgan, Dominic, Judgment Day are overshadowing him even before Roman Reigns returned.
There's no heat with any of his opponents. That's a problem. They tried with AJ, but we didn't buy it.
Yeah. It's like the fourth or fifth Cody's storyline in terms of intrigue. If you had to rank all of the feuds in WWE or programs right now, Cody, I mean, his feud with AJ was okay. But yeah, with Kevin Owens, like, I'm probably like would be fourth or fifth tier, whatever Cody's storyline is for the world title.
Cody as WWE champion.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jerry. You're good.
As much as I like Cody as a face, if he went to dashing Cody Rhodes like mode with that belt and pretty much became like the Homelander character that he might as well dress as, it'd be beautiful. Like, and I think that actually had a little bit of a spark to it. It probably opened up to a lot more opponents. But I guess it's too soon for him to go heel at this point. But if he goes heel before Kevin Owens, that'd be a big change too.
Well said, Jerry. Aaron, let's mow through these super chats so we can move on to the main event.
Mow through these like Mo Camera?
Sure.
Where is he, by the way? Where are you, Mo Camera? You should be here tonight for this. Maybe he just saw Roman Reigns and it's like, I'm not watching this crap.
Yeah, maybe. He's waiting to comment on the video once it's finished.
Oh, there you go.
He always does that.
Yeah, he does. Let's see here. Dylan sent in another $5. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. Says, Cody is having a similar problem that Chris Benoit had in 2004. Not enough viable challengers after WrestleMania.
Yeah, that happens.
Fair take. And again, that's on WWE. They could have been building up some people, knowing that Cody was most likely going to have a long championship run.
It definitely felt like both champions in 04 had that issue, but then they elevated Bradshaw into JBL, and nobody expected that to be a success, and it was. As much as people hate on JBL's title run, looking back on it, it's like there's no reason it should have worked, and it did anyway.
And he set up Cena pretty much, right?
Exactly. They set him up to take the fall to Cena, and Cena's now arguably the GOAT. So it's just a matter of picking. Timing is such a fickle mistress. It's like you have to just have everything lined up right. Right now, they're not having that, at least for Cody. Cody as WWE champion, it was much better watching him chase. Much better.
Yeah. Well, we've always said that the baby faces are always better as a chase.
I mean, they still eventually got to win it, but timing is everything.
Well, but if the WWE has, or any company or anything has something lined up afterwards, then it's fine. But that's with anything. You have a storyline payoff on a television show. You've been invested in binging, and the storyline pays off. It's like, okay, so what's going to happen next season? And then it just falls flat in its ass. It's like, wow,
so important.
It is all through. Oh, good call, Jerry. Very good.
Aaron, more super chats.
All right, let's see what we have here. Anthony sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Anthony. Says, should Roman Reigns win back the title? If so, Rock or Cody?
We'll come back to that because that's going to kind of be our main event in our main event discussion.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. Roman Reigns possibly winning back the title. I'll save that one, Anthony. Let me get to this one. Psycho Jet Black says, if he was still around, would it be Cody Rhodes versus Dolph Ziggler? If Vince McMahon was around,
at some point, yes.
Nick would definitely get a shot at some point, but he's doing just fine on his own. So yeah,
he's the TNA World Champion. Nick Nemeth is good.
He's showing the world.
You know what? Never count out that match happening though. Like maybe
that's true.
WWE TNA could make it work.
Yep. Survivor Series is not just a one company situation in some people's heads.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. They could do that at some point. All right, let's see here. Michael sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate it. Says, what is worse in your opinion, Cody having a lackluster title reign or having 6 different champions from Mania to SummerSlam like in 2002? Interesting question. I mean,
I don't know. I was compelled by 2002 WWE. We were building the Ruthless Aggression era. And having it go from Jericho to Hunter to Hogan to Undertaker to Rock to Lesnar seemed jumpy. But I was compelled by the story the whole way through.
I will say this. I don't hate the title changing a couple times. I think when they start hot potatoing it from one person to another, the title loses value. But let's say John Cena and Randy Orton are feuding, and they maybe go back and forth with the title, or The Rock and Mankind when they went back and forth with the title a couple of times. Like that, I think actually elevates the title because they're both so evenly matched, and either guy could win on any given night. I kind of like that idea when it's 2 guys going back and forth with the title a little bit, and we haven't really seen too much of that in a long time. I would not be opposed to seeing something like that again, but I highly doubt it's going to be Kevin Owens beating Cody and then Cody wins it back. I don't see that scenario whatsoever.
People shit on 1999 wrestling, even the WWF when it was still cooking with gas and there were so many title changes. But I defy anybody to tell me they weren't intrigued by the television of that year for WWF. So it's a matter of taste, I guess. But I was invested in the WWE Championship from WrestleMania to SummerSlam in 2002.
We had mentioned Randy Orton possibly turning heel at some point. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you, Psycho. Says, here's an idea. Have Randy Orton create a new legacy by recruiting 2 or 3 guys from NXT. Who would these guys be? I mean, that's an interesting question. Another legacy. Would that be a good idea? Would it just be a ripoff of the old legacy? Thumbs up or thumbs down on that one. I'm not sure.
Who's in NXT that's a legacy character besides Buchanan's kid?
Brooks Jensen. He's Buchanan's kid.
Right.
So
Oh, Lexus King, I forgot that. I forgot he's still there. That's how bad they've like
This
dropped
shit
it with
is
him.
bad. I don't like that.
It's I don't think that works as a group. Him and
Yeah.
Buchanan's kid and Pillman's kid with Orton. It seems way too forced.
That automatically sounds like lackey material.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple of AEW ones here. So Mr. Tito, he flat out told me that he hates AEW now. Mr. Tito says, years ago, AEW had higher viewership against the Olympics. Why is the Olympics an excuse now for lower viewership? Ditto NBA, hockey, baseball playoffs, FUDM.
Dare you say FU to my mother? Shame on you.
Because, there's more excuses now by the person he mentioned, because as the numbers fall and the viewers decline, they try to save face that it's still what makes wrestling popular today. The in-ring, crazy action, and clearly, if you look at WWE, who's implementing tons of soap opera storylines, wrestling only draws diehard fans, and even those diehard fans tend to get bored the way AEW does it, and that's why they make excuses that it's still good because we're up against this and that. They're trying to save face because their vision of what should be popular in wrestling is clearly not. That's just what I think.
Yeah, the only viable excuse that Tony would have is they have the deal with Warner Bros. Discovery promoting their television shows. The Olympics are with NBC Universal. They're across multiple channels, and you can't go on Peacock without seeing an Olympic logo. It just doesn't happen, at least till the end of the night tonight. It's just everywhere. So if that were a viable excuse, if AEW hadn't creatively tanked the last 5 years, then but is what it is.
As Triple H would say, all of television is competition. Every week, you're fighting for viewers. And some weeks, there's a popular event like the Olympics or basketball or whatever. There's always going to be those shows. You have to create a compelling enough product to bring in those viewers. And if you have a strong enough show, most people are going to watch. And maybe they'll watch your show instead of the Olympics. That should be the goal for WWE, AEW, any company on national television. Your goal every week should be, we want people watching us instead of the Olympics or us instead of the playoffs.
Yep.
You want to put on the best possible, most compelling television show every single week and hook in those viewers. And
that's how WWE Attitude Era did it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to have the attitude of, we want the viewers to tune into our show regardless of what the competition is.
We want to be the best show on television, not the best wrestling show on television.
Exactly. Great point there, Jeff.
What else we got, Aaron?
We're the best entertained. That should be
we are the best
motto.
entertainment for your dollar or whatever the analytic is. Yeah.
All right, we got some more super chats here. Another AEW one, and Jordan, I don't think this applies to anybody in this group here, and there may be a few on Twitter and Facebook, but why do weirdos want AEW to fail? I enjoy both. There's a lot of trolls out there. A lot of people like to troll, and some people just dislike Tony Khan, and because of that, they like to rag on AEW. I don't really think that the majority of people want to see AEW fail. Competition is good. I think the majority of fans want to see AEW better. We want to see 10,000 people in the arena for AEW Dynamite. We want to see their numbers up. We want to see them breathing down the neck of WWE. We want AEW to be as successful as possible. I think I can speak for most people on that. Any negative comments you see, there are those troll accounts of people that are just going to rip into AEW. And you know what? They make it easy. I have to say, the AEW show and Tony Khan's demeanor, he makes it easy to be spoofed and parodied on various social media platforms. So anybody else have an opinion on that?
There's always been tribalism. That's all I'm going to say about that.
No,
it is.
It's unfortunate. There's one of the best movies. Aaron, you and I have talked about this repeatedly. One of the best movies ever was The Dark Knight. And that line from Michael Caine, some men just want to watch the world burn. Some people just want to be that way. And it's like, why can't more wrestling fans? That's why when I had the opportunity and I had the platform, we promoted AEW, we promoted TNA, we promoted the independent shows that were running on, title match or, Triller or whatever, because we wanted to showcase different things. Because if the wrestling business is viable, then what we do here remains viable. If there's only one company to cover, we're going to get bored real quick.
Fair enough. Now we're back to a couple of Roman topics here, so I guess we'll save those for the main event. Last one here for the This Guy Experience. He sent in $2. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Says, I miss the hot potato belt. Great rivals make it work. 100% agree. A great rivalry. It's fine to switch back the titles, but if you do it just for the sake of doing it, like with the women's tag team titles, it's absolutely ridiculous, and nobody cares about the women's tag team titles. That's an example of how not to switch the titles around. And with AEW, the TNT title, how many times did that title switch over the past year? I felt like it was switched like 6 or 7 times in 1 year.
Well, yeah, it did that, but then how many people bitched when Christian had it for all that time? Nobody's ever happy.
Yeah. Right. Now that fair point there too. All right, Virtue main event. TJS, Anthony, we'll get to your super chats in just a couple minutes since it's on topic here with the main event topic.
So it's this simple. What will Roman Reigns' path be now that he's, obviously a babyface here? You could say a tweener, vigilante, but babyface. What's his path now? Big G, I'm going to start with you. Your opinions. You don't have to fantasy book. Like I wrote a bunch of scenarios on Twitter, or not a bunch, but I wrote what I think it would be best for WWE business. Of course, I had people like, no, they don't need the title involved, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to go around and get everybody's take here. You can go on my Twitter and get mine. Big G, go.
Yeah, absolutely. Roman Reigns coming back as a babyface. I think we've all Virtue seen it pretty much. Like I mentioned last couple or on Tuesday, you've seen it for a long time, and now people are embracing him as a babyface or a vigilante, whatever you want to call him. And I feel like obviously we're gonna go towards. I'm sure we'll get a match between him and Solo at Bad Blood. Get the whole thing at Survivor Series and War Games between the OG Bloodline and Bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call them. And then obviously WrestleMania is coming around, so I'm sure we'll get him versus Rock down the line at WrestleMania. But I'm happy for Roman as a babyface. I think it's well deserved. I think everybody has appreciated, even though we complained about it for the past 4 years. In hindsight, I think we appreciated everything that Roman did with the Bloodline. It made everybody tune into SmackDown every single week to see what the Bloodline was going to do, and then, is Roman still going to be, a part-time wrestler showing kind of like Brock Lesnar, like a special attraction? Is he just going to show up at the big shows? Is he going to, Bad Blood, I guess, is kind of like a B+ pay-per-view. Like I said, I'm sure we'll see him versus Solo at Bad Blood or even Crown Jewel, because Crown Jewel is like one of their big shows now, if you think about it. But yeah, I'm glad Roman's a babyface. I know TJS mentioned it, but like the past Survivor, just on SmackDown, they've been chanting OTC the whole entire night that he was out there. He didn't say a single word. Just like the night after he beat The Undertaker. He did say, this is my yard now. So it's kind of similar like that. He got that big pop. And when he did the ooh-wah, the whole place pretty much went along with him. So like I said, just to summarize it, I think everybody is appreciative of Roman Reigns, what he did in the past 4 years. And we'll see where he goes, hopefully in the next 4 years as a babyface.
All right. Greg, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting few months with Reigns, because we're now finally getting the Reigns that the company wanted like 4 or 5 years ago, or a long time ago when he got booed at the Rumble. This is the Reigns they've wanted for so long, and all it took was some crazy bad guy heel couple of years as a dominant champion, and look, now he's come back as one of the biggest baby faces for a very, very long time. The thing is that obviously now it's gonna see who he has to face, because obviously, as Big G said, clearly it's going to be Solo, whether they get that out the way very early on or not, because obviously he's not going to be losing anytime soon. Like he's lost like once in like 3-4 years, right? So like he's not gonna be like losing any matches. So it's going to be a bit like Cody, where he's going to go into all these matches and we know he's going to be winning. So the only Jeopardy match he's going to have is come like WrestleMania. So for me, I'm thinking the end goal there is going to be him versus Rock, because I would rather the belt stay out of it, because Cody's not going to lose the belt until WrestleMania. I would take it off of him. I would have Rock come back and just take the belt off Cody and just be a massive idiot and just be horrible to him, and then be like, you don't deserve the belt, you did this, you did that, or whatever. You got help in the main event.
Greg, let me bring this up though for the people that don't. And I remember at one point back when Roman was chasing 1,000 days, this and that, I was like, if him and Rock ever happen, they don't need a title because the tribal chief, whatever. But Roman, the whole time he was a tribal chief, he was the champion. He won the Universal title, then he won the WWE title and put them together. And so that title is synonymous with being tribal chief, head of the table. And you have to, that's why you have to have it now, because it was such a dominant reign. Like, it would just not be the same to me without that. And Rock holding it on his shoulder, why they did that segment for no reason and nothing ever comes of it, that's a foreshadow. Rock's a smart guy when it comes to that with wrestling stuff. Rock's going to have that on his shoulder. That's what's going to happen. And that's why I think it's important. But I get, the people that don't think it, whatever, the Bloodline saga is big enough. You don't need a title. Well, Greg, so you're telling me that the title match, if Cody had it still and defended against somebody else, would be a secondary, right? If The Rock and Roman are the biggest match in the history of WrestleMania, now you have the title match as a secondary title behind just a bunch of Samoans that are competing for head of the table. That's why I think the championship's going to be on the line.
Well, I think that's what they're going to try to do. Is they're going to try to focus on the whole head of the table, tribal chief. And obviously I'm fine with that. If it comes to like Rock is like, comes back and he's like, I'll take that title, Cody, thank you. Maybe beats him at the Rumble, or maybe I reckon Rock could even interject himself in the Rumble just to win the Rumble, so he can be like, I'm going to go for the belt. I'm going to win the belt on night 1 against Cody, and on the night 2, I'm just going to beat Reigns and be the ultimate tribal chief.
And
instead it backfires. It backfires. He wins the belt night 1, and then Reigns beats him night 2, and he's like, "Oh man, yeah,
I'd be
I messed
totally
up."
fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so would I.
Right, anything else you
want? They're not going to keep Cody out of it.
Okay, and that's so. Yeah, again, several paths. Anything else you want to add? When we get back to Aaron and Super Chat start coming back, and you can chime in. But anything else, Craig?
No, that's it. That's it for now.
Okay, Jerry.
The next step we have coming up is probably going to be War Games, and that's going to be the Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. I think the most compelling thing about that's going to be Roman Reigns having to be humble and get back together the original Bloodline, especially with the Usos. That's going to be like an interesting part of the story, getting those two back on the same page and back under, like, not really under Roman Reigns' thumb, but more of like the all right, this isn't just the Bloodline now. This is family. This is our community. We need to take care of these guys. So, and the inclusion of a fourth member, like, will it be Sami Zayn, or will it be somebody else? Will it be Zoe Fatu? Will it be Tala Longa? Who's it going to be the fourth member of
Jerry,
the group?
As crazy as this sounds, it could still be The Rock. The Rock never turned his back on Roman yet. So he didn't. Again, not saying that's going to happen, but it could be. Rock has big history with Survivor Series turning
But yeah, the problem is with that though is the fact that like if you look at the new bloodline and then you look at Roman's bloodline, you would have Roman, the Usos, and The Rock. That's already that's one pretty one-sided match right there. So especially if you have like a Tongaloa on the side there, that's like 3-on-4.
But I mean, they got Jacob Fatu can go absolutely madman nuts and make that team all of a sudden look equal. They got that card, Jerry.
That's another thing I kind of fantasy booked at one point, but it's kind of thrown out the window at this point with Jacob Fatu not being injured or possibly or not or like
he's
possibly
not. That's
we don't know. We don't know. We really don't know.
We do. But it's stay away from Roman.
But yeah, but I think the fact that like Solo could lose to Roman, like, and then sure enough we have like maybe there's a coup at that point and Solo gets kicked out of New Bloodline. You have a whole bunch of other members join, and from there that like maybe that is a fourth member. Maybe Solo gets brought back into the original Bloodline, and that's how that pans out. Because Solo's not really doing it for us, like as the leader of the Bloodline at this point. I'm not alone in that thought, right? Like Solo's not really no. Okay, but Jacob Fatu, super athletic, super fun to watch, great on the microphone. He'd be a much better leader at this point for the new Bloodline than Solo Sikoa would be. And if you can always have this really cool angle where The Rock is actually either financially backing or just mentoring the new Bloodline.
Well, that's my initial gut feeling, but I just brought the other up because to make 4-on-4 for a War Games match and have everybody actually be Samoan, and I know there's other people out there still too.
That'd be great too, and like either have The Rock just go all the way with them and like pretty much turn on Roman later or just turn on him mid-match. We don't know, but that'd be an awesome sight to see.
Yep. All right, Jerry. Well, again, you can chime in once we get back to the super chats. Go ahead, Jeff.
I've seen this brought up a couple of times over the last week, and I don't know if it's been brought up with Aaron, so forgive me, boss. One thing people aren't really paying attention to is the fact that WWE finally accomplished what they wanted to do, prior to the Bloodline storyline. Get that, just that straight-laced Roman Reigns character over. He has not said word damn one since he came back. He came out there, marched out there, yes, with the Tribal Chief theme, just more epically orchestra played, but come out there, did the Superman punch, did the spear, and he's just been this badass. He's not been the cocky, walking with the swagger, walking with the walk of the cock of the walk, if you will. So I think Roman's path will be determined virtue by if they bring Paul Heyman back. Because Paul Heyman, as sympathetic as he became when the Bloodline destroyed him a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, can Paul Heyman ever really truly be a babyface 100% of the time as a character? No. I don't feel that would be a long-term execution. So if they put Paul back with Roman, then we'll see where it goes. Right now, Roman Reigns looks like he's going to be the Roman Reigns of old, just he's got this 4 years under his belt now as being the guy. He was claiming to be the guy. It's at my yard now. I'm the big dog. And people are like, dude, no, you're not. Shut up. And
if they need to really make the bad Bloodline seem a little more edgy, that they could have Heyman end up joining them in a swerve to be their mouthpiece.
Right.
Back to the Roman thing. Do you remember? I want to say it was maybe when he lost to Sheamus. It was either a Raw. Didn't he go nuts around ringside like the Raw after a Survivor Series or something?
Yeah.
They never went anywhere with that. Just came out and just destroyed everything, but then he's still that edge was kind of gone within a month or so.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was when he won the tournament and then Sheamus cashed in on him with Hunter's help. And then, like you said, he went apeshit at ringside, but then Vince, because he went apeshit on Hunter, Vince stepped in as the authority figure and threatened him with, all kinds of things. And then he had to fight Sheamus for the championship. I think it was the end of 2015. And that's when he became champion again, because if he lost that match, he would be fired or some stupid shit, whatever doing. So that's why he lost the edge.
I remember him going nuts at that one show.
Yeah.
And then
That would've-
people were tweeting about like, this is the Roman we want. Like,
Yes.
not the cartoon character
No.
superhero John Cena 2.0.
No.
And so that was there. Like, you know what I mean? That Roman
Yeah,
was
no, it was.
there.
It's just that he went from that to suffering succotash. People were like, nope, I'm good. That's it. Hell with it. And that was within a very short period of time. Yeah, remember, he went from winning that tournament, getting in the little mini feud with Vince before Hunter won the Rumble and the championship, and then he was off to the races as champion, but then he wasn't because he lost it to who beat him for the? Oh no, it was the story. He was going to be disciplined, I think, and he lost to Seth, who then lost to Ambrose, and then he was gone again. Roman's babyface runs have been stutter-stepped by either disciplinary action or the leukemia.
Yeah.
He's got neither of those ahead of him now. So his path is clear if he stays true to it.
Well said. All right, Aaron, over to you. We got super chats, and here we go.
Jeff just gave me some trauma because now I'm thinking of when Roman Reigns used that term tater tots at the end of 2015.
That's okay. Just get your head and imagine comedian Ron White calling his son tater tot. It'll flush it out. You're good. It'll
Who?
be okay. Oh, never mind. Go ahead. Do your thing. Never mind.
Oh, Jeff. Why?
I tried to deflect and made it worse. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Yeah, no, sorry.
All right, so
Well, I'm here for ruin your day.
Anthony didn't ruin my day, not by a long shot. Anthony sent in a $2 super chat, says, should Roman Reigns win back the title? If so, Rock or Cody? The path I see for Roman Reigns is he's going to feud with Solo Sikoa. We're probably going to have the Bloodline versus Bloodline at Survivor Series, and I'm thinking The Rock is going to be revealed as the one pulling all the strings. Will the title be involved? That remains to be seen. The thing about Roman Reigns, though, is he does seem to be on a part-time schedule now. Now, he could win the championship from The Rock at WrestleMania, and I do think we are going to get Roman Reigns versus The Rock. It's just the biggest match WWE can possibly do. Whether we get Cody versus Rock on night one or something like that, Rock and Roman on night two. Regardless, I think we're getting Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't see any other stage for it, and I don't think they should wait another year for it either. I think it has to happen in Las Vegas, just over a year after all that stuff went down to kick off The Rock's involvement in the storyline. So that's where I see Roman Reigns going. That's my vision for everything. And will the title be around Roman? I have no problem with it. I like Virtue's idea of title versus the moniker of Tribal Chief. Will they do it? That remains to be seen. Now, TJS mentioned this, and I have to say something to TJS. TJS said Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho should have been for the world title and not the U.S. title. You saw how that went. Roman Reigns versus The Rock does need the title, or it will feel secondary like Kevin Owens and Y2J. Now, I think this is absolutely ridiculous, TJS. The Rock versus Roman Reigns is the main event of WrestleMania. That's an argument for making it a title match because it's going on last. If it's at WrestleMania, it is going to close the show.
In turn, make the WWE title feel secondary. And as much as that has been built up with Roman and Cody, it should not. That's the dilemma.
Exactly. 100%. You want the WWE title match to close the show. And if Roman Reigns versus The Rock is your biggest match, that should be for the title. Kevin Owens and Y2J, even with the world title, that probably was not going to be the main event over The Undertaker and Roman Reigns. So they were screwed no matter what. Like, in a way, it was better that the world title wasn't on the line because it would have been secondary. And plus, Brock Lesnar's on the card. It just wasn't going to happen. It was a great storyline, and it shouldn't have been the second match at WrestleMania that year, but it wasn't. It was never going to be the main event or even close to the main event.
And I feel they have this planned out when they did the pivot, and that's why Rock held that title around his shoulder and smirked at Cody. And it was like, here you go. I feel like it's right. Already written in stone, and they already know when it's all going to happen. We just
pretty much here. Hold this for me.
We just don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen.
I think they have a game plan for all this. TJS sent in a $5 super chat, says, Roman Reigns has not said a word, just wore OTC shirt twice, and the crowd is already chanting it. A star, unlike Mercedes Moné, CEO, with it in her song and AEW Trying Hard.
Yep.
I mean, no arguing with you there, TJS. That one, you're right on the money with that. Mercedes Moné is a heel now, but we don't need to discuss that any further.
Aaron, every week on television, when somebody returns or debuts or gets called up, and they do the analytics, they're all doing better than the debuts of Okada and Mercedes and whoever else they keep mentioning in that little thread. Odyssey Jones. Who in the hell is Odyssey Jones? Yet he's doing bigger numbers than Okada's debut, Mercedes' debut, and I forget the third person that's always mentioned in that group of AEW.
And before people say that, WWE is the bigger company, so of course they're going to get higher numbers. CM Punk's AEW debut, I looked on YouTube, has 15 million views.
Yeah.
That is massive. So CM Punk coming in to AEW was a really big deal. And
hey, is this true or not? Someone was like, they gave like YouTube numbers for Edge's return at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then Punk's return to WWE at Survivor Series, and said the Roman return at SummerSlam is 200 million. Is it really that high?
I think across all the social media networks.
All of them. Okay.
But even still, it's been a week, and people were anticipating that so much because we all knew it was a matter of when, not if. But still, people tuned in. They wanted to see it. They wanted to see it happen again and again, and on their social screens, because Roman Reigns coming back in this manner is a big freaking deal. Bigger than Mercedes Moné debuting on AEW. Bigger than all these things.
I think the second they made a Bloodline rules match, that's when everybody was like, okay, it's definitely happening.
Yep. Yeah, it's the exact same scenario we had when Roman exited, so we're going to get him back now. That it's almost just like, okay, tune in. It's going to happen. We're just not going to say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, I remember back in the day you loved Sasha Banks so much. You did the little Sasha dance.
I did. I enjoy. Okay. Jesus, here we go.
Because she was better in WWE. She was protected.
I enjoyed the presentation
by WWE.
I haven't been on the air with you guys. Last time I was on the air with my team before I had my little timeout imposed upon me, I mentioned to them that she looks like unhealthy skinny on the air when she comes out there. She looks like she's having health issues. She's so tiny. It's scary. But I don't buy her as a viable, even secondary champion now. Her whole presentation is just complete garbage to me on the air. And that's going to hurt Greg Cherry's feelings when he watches this. I'm sorry, Greg. I love you, brother, but her presentation has just been so subpar since she showed up.
She's one of the best female wrestlers in the ring.
Yes,
absolutely. She's not having to be a character or talking. It's just the wrestling. Hands down, no one's going to really argue with that.
No. I will watch her matches all day, every day. But her presentation as a character, since she walked out the second time, by the way, from WWE, has been less than for me.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan sent in a $2 super chat, says, I want more edgy from WWE, not overboard more. On Netflix, we are going to see some more edgy content from WWE. I don't see them going overboard with it. I think that they are going to turn it up a little bit, but it's not going to be what AEW does, where you're seeing blood on TV every week and profanity every week. We might get more profanity, though, and I think the chants will be uncensored and the wrestlers will be more uncensored.
You know what I want?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what Rock did to Cody with the bus and everything? When they're on Netflix and the feud with Roman and Rock is official, I want Rock to throw Roman Reigns. Now, granted, edited, but he throws Roman Reigns over a bridge into the water.
There you go.
Not a belt, Roman.
Yeah.
That's edgy.
There's an idea right there. A little throwback to the Attitude.
Stunt doubles.
Attempted murder.
Beautiful thing, man.
Well, that's you just cut away.
Paul Heyman, he throws over.
Cutaways, but you can have like a fake body hit the water. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Greg?
Something to get people talking.
Or just like drive a truck into an ambulance.
There you go. There you go.
Like back when Hogan did it to Rock, and then
Bring
Rock
all
was
the things
like,
back.
He was back
Yeah.
a week later, like, yep, sorry about that, you got me.
Oh,
But
I'd actually really like that.
I did too up until Hogan got in the truck and started talking. It's like, no, Terry, stop, no dialogue. Just do the thing. See, I got so sad to drop my glasses. That's how upset it made me.
Do you
Sorry
think?
about
Listen,
There you go, Noah.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful with this. If The Rock and Roman want to take it to another level when they do feud and they're cutting promos, would Rock say, "Too bad the leukemia didn't get you," because then I wouldn't even have to worry about. Dude, I'm telling you, you could really make it so
Nuclear
personal.
heat.
I mean, movies and TV shows do way crazy stuff. Oh man, that would be so deep. So deep.
Virtue.
Well, wait a minute.
That though to win. Oh God, who was it that was feuding with him?
Wait a minute. Didn't Santos Escobar say something about Rey Mysterio, like that he should have been dead, or I forgot what it was.
You know what? I don't remember that. I was thinking of Orton and Mysterio when Orton said that Eddie was in hell, like right after he passed. I was like, oh, that's.
But
rough.
Santos Escobar said something that was really vicious, like a year or two ago.
Like, dude, they dropped that line. Now you got the people behind Reigns as a babyface. Like, now you're going to kick Rock's ass and cancer patients. I mean, that's that little maybe too John Cena, like Make-A-Wish public, but still though that's you get behind a babyface. That's one way to.
That's one way to generate the heat on the heel. That's for sure.
It's funny you actually mentioned that, Virtue.
Rock is
John Cena actually said like you have to have really tough skin to be in the company these days. And like pretty much if it involves like getting the fans to boo you or cheer you, you gotta be prepared to say anything. You gotta be prepared to take anything. So the whole leukemia thing you're talking about, that
Rock
very
dropping
well
that man, he will get booed out of the building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm Gary. That's why I'm intrigued to see CM Punk have a consistent time on television uninjured, because he doesn't care if the handcuffs are on him out. He'll still say the shit.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't care, and it's beautiful.
I've watched him for years now. He will.
Yeah.
Here's what Santos said. This was last year. He said that he hoped that Rey Mysterio's surgery did not go well and that Rey's leg would get an infection and have to be amputated.
Jesus. That's pretty bad.
No, not bad, but obviously that didn't happen. Like he was saying like a what if, but not referencing something medically bad that has happened.
Yes.
Reigns is in remission of leukemia.
Yes.
It will be the rest of his life.
Yeah, right.
That is deep. But
no,
again,
that's
but those guys are pros, and again, why they might talk about stuff like that. We'll have to see. Aaron, what else do we got?
Well, I think we're caught up now. Great discussion tonight. Excellent panel. Definitely one of our stronger panels. But every week is a great panel. We got some wonderful people on with us every week, and the 6-person format's fun. It's just we definitely. Got to keep the topic short, but thanks to everybody that sent in super chats this week. Much appreciated. And we're coming back next Sunday, and I got NoDQ and a video coming up on Thursday. So feel free to super chat questions there. I guess we're all wrapped up here, Virtue, unless we get some overtime questions.
Final words. Greg, go ahead.
I was just going to mention one more thing before in regards to the whole storyline going forward. Like, how would people like if, say, it was, the bootleg, the bootleg Bloodline, obviously with Solo and his little crew, obviously including Jacob, against Reigns, Jimmy, Jay, and Rock, and then say that's the night that Rock turns on Roman to cost him the War Games match.
There you go.
And he's like, just whatever.
And Rock
all I want is Rock,
in the ring.
Rock and Roman headlining WrestleMania with the title on the line. That's all I need. I don't care how it gets there, Greg.
The big turn has to be like a big pay-per-view or something. That's where he can be like, I was always playing you, and that can be. I think that can be the big turn.
You have your Survivor Series or War Games is going to be in November, and you have a Royal Rumble, which I think is in January, correct?
February 1st is Royal Rumble this coming year. Yeah.
So it's close enough to it that they can actually build a Roman and Rock feud all the way up to Royal Rumble. So that'd be fun.
I was going to say you've got a solid 2 full months because Survivor Series is November 30th. So you've got all of December and all of January until Royal Rumble Saturday, February 1st. You've got 2 full months.
Remember last year, Rock showed up January 1st, didn't he? Or
Yeah.
Rock showed up in January, so he definitely willing to do it. Being on the board of directors, getting paid big bucks. All right, Jerry, go ahead. Oh, anything else you wanted to say in closing, Greg? Any plugs? Anything?
Just thanks for having me. Really appreciate you having me. Hopefully, I can be on for 300 for the big one, and let's hope that these next few weeks it picked up even more, and Reigns comes out and says something. And yeah, I'm looking forward to these next few weeks, next few months. And yeah, thanks for having me again, guys.
No problem. All right, Jerry.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Gerald_JSJ or my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR exclamation point. We have wrestling topics like memes, whatever. We just talk about your wrestling. No tribalism in there. It's all everybody just loves pro wrestling. So that's the important thing for me. And thank you guys for having me on. Greg, it's a pleasure to meet you. I hope to work with you again too. Your voice is very soothing.
Yes.
But yeah, you guys have a great night.
All right, thank you. All right, Jeff.
I have nothing to plug, and I love it. Not take that shit off. No, seriously, take it down. I'm dead ass serious. I got nothing to plug.
What about the other channels?
They're not running right now because they claim they can't without me. Well, one person claims they can't without me. Go support everybody else, though. Please, if they have new content going up over on those channels, go support them. They claim they're not going to because they for some reason they think they can't produce content without my name on it. I never said that. Just the stuff that has my name on it, I'm not doing right now because I'm not making money off it. I don't think it's right that people make money off my name. I think that's kind of shitty. So please go support everybody and support this guy. I love Big G. Support Aaron as you always do. Get on Twitter and troll with Virtue if you dare, if you've got the balls, because I don't think you do. Because
I've slayed so many. I made so many people disappear. I started going into private chats to do it now because
it's a beautiful thing.
I ain't got nothing left. All right, thanks, Jeff. Go
it's
ahead.
A beautiful weekend for that.
Go ahead.
All right, and before you throw
Greg's channel is running. That's true. To be fair, yeah, Greg's channel is still running. So please go support the Greg Cherry brand. We're looking to do some more stuff here in the next few weeks with Greg and his channel. So yes, definitely the Greg Cherry brand support them for sure.
And before you throw my graphic up, Jeff. Okay, yeah. So NoDQ. All right, yeah. So YouTube Harlan Joker 2021. If you love cats, I have a lot of cat videos up there. X NoDQ _ Big Baller G. TikTok Big Baller G 1988. Instagram NoDQ _ Big Baller G 1988. And Jeff, here's a zinger for you. Aaron, you don't know who Ron White is? Here's your sign.
Well, that's Bill Engvall, but same circle of people.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Thanks, Big G. All right, Aaron.
Who's Ron White?
Ron White is one of the comedians that's on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. He was with Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy and Bill Engvall. I know you know who Foxworthy is, and I know who Larry the Cable Guy is, Aaron. So
I actually don't.
Oh my God! All right, we'll talk off here. You're killing me.
All right. Anyways, again, no DQ&A video coming back on Thursday night. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I have a lot of questions, but feel free to super chat some questions as well. There you go, Jerry, taking a picture of the live stream tonight. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Got a busy week here coming up, and that's it. Virtue.
Twitter, x.com at NoDQ_Virtue. I think I still got Facebook up as well, but nonetheless, this has been the NoDQ review number 297. We are getting close to 300, and Greg already dropped out. But for Greg,
there you go, Mimi's.
Jerry, for Jeff, Big G, Aaron, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy, I am Virtue, the moderator. This has been the NoDQ review, and we will see you again next Sunday. Good night, everybody. Oh, and go check out NoDQ.com/merch.
You're done.